I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you are in the live chat, we do ask to keep family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform we're utilizing tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you know when we go live. I'm out of breath. Had to run downstairs to get my notes. Hi, John.
How you doing?
I'm dying here. Anyway, good Lord. Whew. All right. Yeah, we're downstairs. Running late today. Hey, how's your day?
It was very good.
Good.
It was very good. I don't know if I should be happy or sad that I didn't get raptured.
I think I was left behind. Apparently, only a couple people were taken. I don't know. Yeah, but it's okay. You know, here's the good thing. We might have missed it this year, but there's always September 23rd of next.
Right.
So I think that's the day that, I don't know, you know, I'm really ticked off about it because the Bible's pretty clear on the consequences for speaking for God and not having it come to fruition. Because, you know, God doesn't lie. If he says something's going to happen, it's going to happen. And if you said that you've received a word from God, or you received a message from him, well, you better make sure that it's really from him, because if it doesn't come true, doesn't come to fruition, that really puts you in a spot, you know. And I think that people are going to be held to a higher accountability because, you know, the Bible is really clear on what happens, and it's a good thing we're not living in the ancient times because, yeah.
Right. And I always wonder why it's the, here's the thing. If people feel like they get these hints or it matches up or it's weird or whatever, like I say in my stuff, I don't know what's going to happen, but I tell you that if I find something weird, I'm going to say, hey, this looks weird. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's just odd looking to me. It doesn't fit the pattern. But
Exactly.
I think the ones that, like the Lord, did the Lord wait for them to get a big following on TikTok to tell them the truth? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
He
know.
didn't, it's like, but they'll run with it, and we already know who we're talking about. It's quite a few of them.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, so that's what. Yeah, you
yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
like
So
full blown. You
you
told
know,
me.
so I put up a post today, and it said, "I'm proposing we declare the September 23rd World Rapture Day every year." And somebody called me out on it, and they said, "This is what he said." He goes, "If you're mocking the people, you're mocking the Father. They are the body of believers. They just have their timeline misinterpreted through false teaching. We all learn from mistakes made, but make no mistake, you are mocking him." My response, oh, they need to be called out by name. What they have done to the mental health of believers will be taken care of by the Father. Do you know what the punishment for stating prophecy from God and it not happening in ancient times was? Yeah, death. Deuteronomy 13:5 states that a prophet who tries to lead people astray by speaking falsely must be put to death, while Deuteronomy 18:20 declares that any prophet who speaks presumptuously in God's name or in the name of another God is liable to death. I said if the prophet's prediction did not come true, it was considered proof of an impostor and incurred the death penalty, according to other interpretations of the word. I said, so I'm playing nice.
Yeah, it's like mocking the Father, like
I'm not the one taking the word of God, and adding to it, So I
right.
don't think I'm the one mocking.
People just get excited. It's because it does different things to people. If people get scared, you saw what happened when what was that? H.G. Wells had the War of the Worlds. People were
Yeah, yeah.
off.
People actually committed suicide over that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the same thing can happen with people saying the rapture, and they'll have these people that are just they're not that. There's not that they're weak, but they're scared or whatever happened. Then they like start doing stuff to themselves, and so that's here's the thing. You won't have to like warn about the rapture if you just do the right thing, which is not
Right.
like being a holy roller. You can just do the right thing, believe in Jesus. And I'll be honest with you, I've never, I didn't particularly believe in the rapture before and after my, conversion. Um, Before I just kind of heard about it through the books or whatever that they wrote. And then, afterwards, I was just kind of like, I never got into that. I was just like, I don't know. If the rapture comes, I think it's a good thing because I don't want to stick around here with all the Nephilim hybrids that'll be running around. So, but I never thought about it. Like, you know what? My whole thing's based on the rapture. I never told anybody. If I discussed it, it was with you on here, or I've never really talked about it. Like, cause I don't worry about it. I'm like,
Right.
well, we're going to be all right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. It's weird because um, believing in the rapture is not a salvation issue, whether you believe in it or not. Because, like you said, if you do the right thing, you don't have to worry about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't, if you just, it's like, do you believe in the Lord? Do you glorify him? Do you have a relationship with him? Cause that's just my personal thing is like, I've seen a lot of people and I'm sure everybody else has like, you can tell that they're full of shit basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I've never had to, when he showed up to me, he didn't give me a checklist. He told me how I was wrong and he was right about it. And it was just a good moral standard. It was like, he didn't tell me, oh, you got to do this, this, and this, and this. He was like, your whole problem is you just don't glorify me and you don't care about me.
Ooh.
And I was like, yeah, you're
Ouch.
right. And after that, I don't know. I've never had a problem with him after that.
Yeah, ouch. Yeah, that's yeah. Man. I don't know. That would almost be heartbreaking to me, because I hope that, that's what I do. Is I hope that I glorify him.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like glory, and then another thing, it's like, is there different levels of glory? But Lori, I mean, you could really think like, can you say I've heard him tell me, you know what? If you care about people, and one of my biggest worries before I was a believer was, what's, can I take care of my mom, or where's she going to go, or whatever. Like, you just worry about other people,
Yeah.
and you're like, you have no, I didn't have any kind of thoughts about anything. Like, I hated him, right? But I was like, well, is he going to take care of my mom? So you have some sort of humanity to you. It's just not exactly, involving him in your thoughts. But the way I look at it is, if you glorify him, if you can sit back and say, you know what, Lord, that person got a disease and they're going to meet you, but guess what? I'm going to pray for their salvation, and I'm going to accept your will be done. If you can stand fat, and I get it's hard. I promise you. I get that it's hard, and people lose kids and all that, and I hate when that happens. But I think if you can stand in there and say, you know what, my kid is in Abraham's bosom, he don't want to come back, and glorify the Lord, and I love the Lord, and that's, I mean, I think it's just, you can't defeat someone like that.
Right.
That's how I think glory is. If you can just sit back and say, you know what, the Lord's will be done, and I'm down here, and whatever. So,
And that's what the Bible tells us. I mean, the Lord's Prayer. Your will be done. And it's hard. If somebody who's gone through, the 12 steps for recovery,
yeah,
it's hard to. We used to always say, "Let go and let God." That's
yeah,
easier said than done on a lot of things. I think a lot of people have a lot of, especially people that have control issues, have a hard time relinquishing control of things to an unseen entity.
it's true. I've run into people that lost kids, and I had talked to them, because I worked at the auto parts store when there's nothing else to do, and I worked at IHOP, when I was at my, I don't want to say my lowest in my life, because I don't want to put down people who work there.
Right, right.
Coming from an oil and gas job, and again laid off and stuff, I was humbled. That had to happen to me, and I was like, had 78 cents to my name at one time, and I was selling parts and sweeping floors, cleaning toys at IHOP, but it was a job. I didn't care. But the thing, anyhow, talking to people, like I knew somebody that their child had an accident with a weapon, and she came in there, and I was like, "How you been?" And she was like, "Well, not too good." She goes, "Kid got a hold of a weapon, and he's gone, and that was an accident." And she was like, "Just how can God?" She's like, "How do you sit back and tell people about the Lord, and He did that to me?" I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, He didn't do that to that kid, nor did it to you." I said, that child's journey, he found a man-made weapon, and it discharged, and it got him. And I
Yeah.
said, that was his journey. And I said, you can't. She's just like, how does God do that? I said, He didn't do that.
Yeah.
I said, that just happened. But I said, I will tell you this: that kid don't want to come back. What do you mean? I said, that kid's in Abraham's bosom. He don't want to come back. I said, you just stay the course, and you'll see him again. That's it. That's all you got to do. I said, it's just. And then she was just like, and then sometime after, I seen her sister in town, and she was like, I don't know what you told my sister, but now she's like, getting up and go, like go and do her thing, and not laying in the bed crying all day. And I was like, look, I said, all I'm saying is, I get that sucks. That sucks. I get it. And I said, I'm sorry that happened to you, but I said, I'm not going, I'm not going to lie to you and say that the Lord did that, because He didn't do it. And I said, a man-made weapon did that. It was an
Right.
accident. And I said, but where that kid's at, he can see you. And I said, he ain't coming back. He don't want to. I said,
Yeah.
nobody who goes there ever wants to come back to this damn planet. And I said, I'm a steadfast on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we have funerals, and we do those things not for the person that's passed away. We do those things for ourselves to make ourselves feel better.
Right.
And that's actually what was happening in Deuteronomy when or I'm sorry, Deuteronomy. in First Corinthians, when Paul was talking and people misinterpret those verses for the rapture. What Paul was doing is he was comforting people at a funeral, because they were like, well, are we ever going to see these people again? You know, this person again? And he said, of course. He says, you know, when the time comes, you know, the dead in Christ shall rise, and you know, we will see everybody again.
Right, that's right.
Misinterpret that.
That was their problem. Was that each group had their own problems, and he but it's like everybody's problem, right? All of Paul's epistles covers everyone's problems from at that time until now.
Yeah, yeah. But a lot of people, and this is what I found, and I really never clicked until recently, is that, okay, if you go to an organized church, you never get the full Bible.
Right.
If you go to a Roman Catholic church, you get the same sermon over and over and over again. They kind of recycle, like, I think it's 12
it's all dated. I was forced to do that.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a very low number that they recycle over and over again. Go to another, you know, like a mega church like Osteen's and stuff. Well, you're lucky if you ever see about it. I used to call him Joel. Was Joel? Look, Mom, no Bible Osteen, because I mean that man never picked up a Bible, and then all of a sudden he was picking it up, but he wasn't opening it. You know.
Yeah, they hold it.
Right, and a lot of people, I mean, John 3:16 is about the only verse they know.
Yeah, they know like the infomercial scriptures.
Right.
And that clock.
Right. Or the judge not. You know, judge not. You know, well, keep reading. Keep reading.
they know the spokesperson.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's I, being gone for those 10 months that I was gone, I actually only have, because I haven't really done it too much being home, because I was trying to catch up on stuff around the house, but I only have about 2 chapters of Revelation to finish before I've read the entire Bible again. So I did have a lot of time and reading.
I read the entire Bible. I don't know. That's just my thing. You know, we probably talked about this before, Lori, and I've told people, I said, people, the stuff I talk about probably don't even have to pertain to you. I said, if somebody steadfast in the belief in Jesus, then I ain't got to tell them about the Nephilim. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you're good. You know, you love the Lord, but I said, you know, don't get scared if you see something weird looking, you know, might show up. But you know, their faith is so good. I just don't even, you know, the Lord has told me that, like, you don't have to tell everybody about that. You know, it's like, just tell them the gospel, like, hey, this is what turned darkness, you know, to light, turn their eyes. Yeah. Like I said, and then, but not everybody's got to hear everything. And, and that's right. Yep.
And, you know, people might come months down the road and listen to us talking right now, and it may resonate with them then. It didn't resonate with them now, but it might do it in the future. So you don't know. You know?
I want to say my grandma had one of them clocks that, I think it was like James Earl Jones's voice or some deep voice, and it would tell you a scripture on every hour.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
It's kind of scary. You're like, you try to watch a scary movie or something, like, you know, 1 a.m.
Right.
Read from this or something.
That's funny. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, I wanted tonight to kind of talk. Something came through. I don't even know where I saw it. I've been so going between different platforms and just kind of like picking things out and just watching things. And something caught my attention today because of the name of it, which was Project Stargate. And I clicked on it, and it wasn't at all what I thought, because Project Stargate, from 1977, the Fort Meade, you know, the research that the military was doing, actually the Defense Department. Let me pull it up, and I'll show you guys. This is what I thought. Okay, by the way, guys, I buckled and I bought StreamYard, so things are going to go a lot smoother than they were before, I promise. Good Lord. All right. There we go. Okay, so this is what I thought it was. This is Project Stargate for the U.S. Army, And John, we've talked about Stargate on quite a few shows, so people should basically know what it is. But
Yeah.
it was a secret U.S. Army unit established in 1977 in Fort Meade, Maryland, by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the DIA, and the Stanford Research Institute, to investigate the potential for psychic phenomena in military and domestic intelligence applications. So basically, what they were doing remote viewing, right, and psychic abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had different operations under it: Gondola Wish, Stargate, Grill Flame, Center Lane, Project CF, Sunstreak, and Scanate. That's a CIA one.
It's like the men who stare at goats kind of deal.
Oh, okay. That's funny. That movie, I actually just I've got it.
And that was a real unit. That was a real unit.
It was, yeah. It was a real thing. I've got it on my list of movies to watch. I saw it on Netflix the other day. But to my surprise, this wasn't even what they were talking about. There is actually a new project Stargate that's going on in Texas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, big AI data center.
Yeah, an AI data center. Let me pull that up. Wow, I pulled that up and I was like, you got to be kidding me. What could possibly go wrong? All right. So, screen share. Here we go. Got that. All right, here it goes. So this is Oracle. What could possibly go wrong? Oracle will build a U.S. data center supplying 4.5 gigawatts compute for OpenAI's Stargate project. Stargate is a $500 billion generative AI infrastructure venture in the U.S. led by OpenAI and Oracle. Announcement by President Donald Trump in January of 2025. Stargate is a $500 billion generative AI infrastructure venture in the U.S. led by OpenAI, Oracle, Japanese telecoms giant Softbank, and MGX, an investment firm based in the United Arab Emirates. That's what he actually went to the Emirates for, wasn't it? To get funding for this.
Yeah.
I can't believe they gave it to him, but whatever. So OpenAI intends to operate the data center. Oracle will provide the server infrastructure and leasing. SoftBank handles the capital investment, and NVIDIA will supply many of the chips. Despite lofty plans, Oracle has so far opened just one facility in Abilene, Texas, where Denver-based startup Crusoe Energy handled the physical build-out. Its current capacity is approximately 1.2 gigawatts. But plans are in place to expand it to around 2 gigawatts, according to Bloomberg, to meet its energy demand. John, that's a lot of power.
Right. And off the back, just 5 years ago, Texas basically froze and people died because there wasn't, all the wind farms, they didn't expect it to be no wind when that ice storm came. And, we lost, because Texas has its own grid, but it lost all of the power. And so how are they going to do this? Right?
Not only that, but we found out something quite interesting, and I apologize to the person who told me this. Oh, no, I know who it was. It was Ernie. So a few months back, Ernie messaged me, and he said, you've got to look into AI. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, do you know how much water it requires to cool to do AI? It's a lot of water. And I asked my AI. I asked the Chat GPT one time, and I don't know where it is. I'll ask him again. How much water it takes to cool. Let me just do this. How much water does it take? And he told me it was a crazy amount to run AI. Let's see what he says. He says, great question. And it's bigger than most people realize. Running AI requires massive amounts of water, not because the computers drink it, but because data centers use water to cool the servers and that train and run AI models. Here's the breakdown. Data center cooling. Most AI servers generate a lot of heat. Water is often pumped through cooling systems or evaporated in cooling towers to keep machines at safe operating temperatures. Research from the University of California, Riverside in 2023 estimated that training GPT-3 consumed about 700,000 liters of clean, fresh water just for the training phase. That's roughly enough to make 370 BMW cars or 320 Tesla electric cars. Everyday use of the interface, running prompts like when you ask me this question, also uses water. Though much less than training, scaled across millions of users, though, that adds up. Data centers in hotter, drier regions like Texas, Arizona, and parts of the Middle East can use much more water per computation compared to those in cooler or coastal areas. By 2027, it's projected that AI data centers could consume billions of liters of water per year, competing with cities and agriculture for access to fresh water. So in short version, training a big AI model, hundreds of thousands of liters of water, and running AI daily worldwide, billions of liters annually.
Right. And Texas has a water problem. So Abilene is the start of West Texas, they call it. It's like a drop off. It goes from trees to desert, right? But here's the thing too. So Abilene's always had a lot of underground infrastructure, and it's like a strategic for the United States military, a point. And if I had to take a guess, so there's so many plants, gas plants, and you could use propane and any other things like, anything like a C4 or above for refrigerant. And a lot of pipelines go there now. So they could use water, which would drain all the way, like from North Texas. Or they could use like basically the ethanes that gas plants produce to cool, because that will cool a whole lot. It's very good technology.
Right.
And they have it. So, I mean, they're up to something. They just didn't pick that place for nothing.
Well, they've got, where is it? They got plans for more plants in Michigan, Wisconsin, Wyoming, New Mexico, Georgia, Ohio, and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, them places they got that. It's like, Planetier. It'll be control centers where they can like basically Skynet these drones. I mean, they're setting all this up for obviously the system that's coming.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to show the building. So this is the one building they've got built. Gee, what does that look like? Huh, that's interesting. I just noticed that. And so so they're going to have how many of those did I say? I don't remember how many they're going to have. But they're going to have, I think, 20 of those buildings, if I'm not mistaken. And each one of those buildings are going to have, these are the, what are they called? I'm trying to think what they called. I can't think of it. And the NVIDIA, they're GPUs. And there's going to be 400,000 of those.
Oh, wow.
GPU. Yeah. And
remember I told you a while back they had those crypto servers, those crypto vaults they call them.
Yes.
They're all out here, and there's no kind. I mean, there's like, I see fans over there and stuff, but there's nothing fancy that cools them. And I know those things got to use a lot of power, and they're out here, with me. Like it's hot. So maybe they've come up with a way to where they don't have to consume that kind of water because there is no fresh water where I'm at. There, if you go anywhere to eat, they got drinking water. There is nobody unless they have like an RO system, but that doesn't take everything out because West Texas has a huge freshwater problem. There is no fresh water.
Wow.
You're not gonna go drill a well at your house and then because you have to have a system to get the sulfur and the salt out of it. Otherwise, it's undrinkable. Because
wow.
Fracking has destroyed all this. Unless you're wealthy and you get somebody to truck in fresh water from down or what, like you have tanks in your yard basically.
I wonder if they can recycle the water they're using. I should ask the AI that. Give me a second. Let me see if I can.
Oh, that the recycle that. Well, I mean,
yeah.
As long as it's not like doesn't cause it to have norm, radiation.
And just ask it, can the water be recycled? He says yes, in many cases, but it depends on how the cooling system is designed. He said most AI data centers use evaporative cooling. Water is sprayed through towers, absorbs heat, then evaporates into the atmosphere. Once it's vapor, it's gone, not recyclable. Some facilities instead use chilled water loops or liquid immersion cooling, where water circulates, absorbs heat, and then gets cooled down again without being lost. That water can be reused almost indefinitely, though some is lost to leaks and evaporation.
Yeah.
On-site treatment, data centers can treat and reuse gray water, like wastewater from cities, rather than pulling fresh drinking water. Systems that keep water contained, cycling it again and again, minimize losses. Some companies like Microsoft and Google are experimenting with air cooling, ocean water cooling, and even submerging servers in special liquids that don't evaporate.
Well, water does cool until it reaches 220, so.
Oh, what are we doing here? Okay. So Heather sent a video. So this is Oracle. Let's take a look at this. Remove that, and we'll put this on the screen. So this is the company Oracle. Let's see.
Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk is no longer the world's richest person. That title now goes to Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison.
Ellison's wealth jumped by a staggering $101 billion after Oracle's strong earnings report on Tuesday evening. That pushed his net worth to $393 billion, surpassing Musk's net worth of $385 billion. The Bloomberg Billionaire Index reports Ellison's leap in wealth is the biggest one-day increase ever recorded by the index.
The police will be on their best behavior, because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be immediately, an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times, and the supervision will and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever we need to take control of the situation. We have same thing. We have drones. If there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop. A drone goes out there, get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple. the new generation of autonomous drones.
President Trump's first full day back in office included a major announcement about artificial intelligence that'll bring jobs to Texas. The president stood next to the CEOs of OpenAI, Oracle, and Softbank to announce a $500 billion project called Stargate. The project would build new data centers and electricity generation needed to power AI. Texas will serve as a launch point, with the first of the data centers being built in Abilene. The goal for Stargate is to create 100,000 new jobs here in the United States.
Larry Ellison, he's the co-founder of Oracle, the tech company, and he's just pulled off the impossible. $100 billion in a day. His wealth skyrocketed overnight. For a few hours, he was the richest person in the world, even richer than Elon Musk. How did that happen? Thanks to one of the biggest stock market jumps in tech history. It was fired by cloud deals, AI contracts, and a staggering earnings report. So Ellison's fortune grew by over $100 billion in 24 hours. It's the single biggest one-day wealth gain ever recorded. Oracle stock surged by almost 36%. 2 days ago, the company released its earnings. It came with a bold projection. Oracle's cloud business is expected to grow 14-fold in 5 years. Today, the company makes $10 billion in revenue. By 2030, they're expected to touch $144 billion. These numbers stunned Wall Street. There was a rush of investors. As a result, the stock exploded and Ellison's fortunes changed. Which brings us to what Oracle does. It's a popular name in the computer world. Oracle is a major software company. Their main business is database software. It is used by governments and businesses. If you book flights, if you manage your company's payroll, if you file your income tax returns, chances are you're using Oracle software. They also run a massive cloud infrastructure, something that all modern AI services need. Oracle provides this infra. It deals with all the biggest names in the business: OpenAI, Elon Musk's xAI, Meta, NVIDIA, AMD. All of these companies work with Oracle. You see, training models like ChatGPT takes massive computing power. A normal computer cannot handle that workload. So you need specialized cloud systems powered by high-speed chips. Most importantly, you need computers which are secure, and this is where Oracle comes in. It builds and runs these systems at scale, and it offers them to AI companies as a service. This cloud business has boosted Oracle's revenue. Their revenue pipeline is now worth $455 billion. That's a 359% jump from last year. And these numbers are great. The momentum is genuine. But we have to say, like with every stock, it comes with risks. Much of Oracle's hype rests on a few massive contracts. Like we said, the customers include OpenAI, NVIDIA, and Meta.
I warned you guys in 1984. You didn't listen. Sure. Look, I mean, you got to follow the money. Who's building these things, right? They're either building it to dominate market share. So what are you teaching it? Greed. Or you're building it for defensive purposes. So you're teaching it paranoia. I think the weaponization of AI is the biggest danger. I think that we will get into the equivalent of a nuclear arms race with AI. And if we don't build it, the other guys are for sure going to build it. And so then it'll escalate. And you know, you could imagine an AI in a combat theater, the whole thing just being fought by the computers at a speed that humans can no longer intercede. You have no ability to de-escalate. And when you're dealing with the potential of it escalating to nuclear warfare, de-escalation is the name of the game. And having that pause, that timeout, but will they do that? The AIs will not.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
What? Are we the only ones that see the danger in this?
Yeah, and everybody does. Everybody hears the whole, oh, it's going to bring 100,000 jobs. Yeah, but you're building a FEMA camp that you ain't got to be in, but it's going to control you. You know, the drones, and then they're building an Abilene. And that Abilene is strategic. Like later on down the road, when that thing is literally, you know, everyone has a drone assigned to them, and it's going to follow you around. Like, you're going to go in the store, it's going to be on top of you. I mean, I guess people don't realize that if the Antichrist is going to take control, you think he's going to just not know what you're doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
He's gonna know everything. He's gonna know about every person. Nobody's gonna go. I used to think about, oh yeah, go off to the wilderness. Yeah, the Lord protects you, whatever. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, in reality, if they send a drone after you, it's got thermal. So how are you going to defeat that?
Right.
It's got metric pressure. How are you going to defeat that? It knows when you're walking. It can tell when somebody walks by you and you can kind of smell them. That's barometric pressure difference. I mean, these things can recognize that. That's how a lot of landmines are set up. So I mean, it's just like, in reality, once this thing takes control, that's the reason why they're building them. Nobody needs AI to help them answer a freaking question. They spin it off to everybody as just like the cell phones when they came out. Guess what? In case of emergency, yeah,
Right.
did it help? Did it? I
You
mean,
always have a phone on you. You're always connected. In case anything happens.
they said, that. But what happened before cell phones? Like, does anybody ever do statistics? And like, yeah, did cell phones help out? Maybe not. No, not a 100% thing. Like you have to have one. Like,
Right.
guess what? It could save you life in emergency. Not
Right.
really. I know a lot of people that passed away, and cell phone didn't do shit.
Right.
So, anyhow, I think that just building that, and look at the guy building it. What's wrong with these people? What I'm gonna have to say, why are all these tech guys white? Why are they all white and weird looking? I'm just saying, there's something weird about them, man. And I always say it, and people laugh when I say it, but when the Nephilim giants got described, they were always white with red hair. They're like, a big white person. I don't know. That's kind of weird to me.
Right. Well, it just, it seems like we all watched Terminator. We all know how Skynet ended. And Google weren't they the ones that shut down their AI because it started to be sentient?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing is, when you create these things, there comes a time when the creation can outwit the creator.
Right.
Put this up on the screen too. I found this was quite interesting. I don't know if it's the wording that I find interesting. I think it's more the wording. And man created AI in his image. ChatGPT arrived through lightning speed adoption. Indeed, OpenAI confirmed that ChatGPT users surpassed 1 million just 5 days after its launch, making it the fastest adopted app in history. And although not yet confirmed by OpenAI, we estimate that number grew further to somewhere between 100 and 300 million users by the end of January. That's crazy numbers.
Yeah. I mean, and think about it, it's like the easiest thing, how fast it is, or how fast it took over, or whatever.
Well, you guys, I mean, you heard me type out the question, and I mean, immediately it answered. But I don't understand why we need it. We have Google. Why can't we just do that ourselves? Are we getting that lazy that we need an actual entity to
Well,
do
yeah.
our-
I mean, that it's just they have an agenda with it that they won't share. Kind of guess at what it is, but these tech guys won't share it. But as soon as everybody has it infiltrated in their software or whatever, and you can't escape it, because obviously it could come over to the grocery store. I mean, it's just so easy, and people can they can sit around and say the mark of the beast isn't real. I'm a scholar of the Bible, and that was the time of John on the island, because the guy on the island was going to go to the grocery store, right, and use his debit card. So the mark of the beast is just preposterous, but it's not.
No.
It's like how fast can it infiltrate? And you have a chip already on a card. Like, why the hell did a debit card need a chip?
Right.
In the first place, if the stripe worked, or why did it evolve? From putting it in that thing and letting the little ink paper. Remember they used to slide your credit card.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell you, oh, it's faster with this. No, you just tell me that, so I'll accept it.
Right.
When it doesn't help me whatsoever, it's against
I'm
me.
getting a receipt anyways.
Right. And it's just like going with that theory, like it'll help you do this, and it'll bring jobs.
But that's what they always do. They always paint it as something that's going to help humanity. It's like transhumanism. You know, it's going to help people paraplegics walk again. You know, that's good. It may help a handful of them, but that's not why you're doing it. It's not why you're implementing it.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's the same thing as another group of people. Like, there's not many of them, but they make policy in the United States.
Right. Exactly.
It's the same for the. I mean, you know what? Somebody paralyzed can walk in. That's cool. I'm all about it. But is it that? I mean, you know, just let them walk, because I'd rather it be a miracle of the Lord rather than some damn, you know, computer system or whatever the, you know, hell it is to help him. I don't know. It's a tightrope, because you don't want to sound like you're, you know, being mean or anything, but it's like, nah, in the end, I guess it's just like, you know what, F it, because when that stuff takes over and, you know, they won't with you, then when you're in the lines to the guillotine, just be like, you know what, I told y'all so. Nobody listen to me.
Exactly. So, you know, we probably all heard of the laws of robotics. Okay. The laws of robotics, there's 3. The first one is a robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Number 2 is a robot must obey orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And number 3 is a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first and second law. So I decided to check to see if there were any of those laws that would pertain to AI. And this is what it says. It says, yes, there are laws for AI, though the legal landscape is still developing and varies significantly between countries and states. There's no comprehensive federal AI law in the United States, but individual states like California and Colorado have enacted special legislation and frameworks for areas like consumer protection, data privacy, and worker rights. The European Union has also implemented the EU AI Act, which takes a risk-based approach to regulate AI systems. So basically, there's no like set parameters for it, though I will tell you that I asked my Chat GPT the other day a question. And I can't remember. Let me go see what. And he basically refused to answer it.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
Whatever happened just using Siri?
I know, right? I mean, Siri, yeah, she got a little weird on some people, but, you know, I can't remember what it was. It was something, and I basically, I kind of got mad at it. I was like, you know, and also, I do know, so, you know, those it's on social media, it's on TikTok, it's on Facebook, where you get those videos and they go, is your boyfriend cheating on you? You can put your number in this, then do this, you know, whatever, do a deep dive or whatever. So one of them, it was kind of like that, but it was one of them was she said that she put herself she did a deep dive on herself. You'd be surprised what you can find on the internet. And I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. I was bored. So I went my Chat GPT and I said, can you look on the deep web or, you know, the regular web for my name and scan it for me? And he said, no, I can't. I said, but I'm asking you to do it for myself. Or he said something about, I can't do that because that's invading people's privacy. And I was like, but I'm asking you to do it for myself. He said, I still can't do it.
Huh.
So I went back to that video and I was like, yeah, this is a crock of crap. You know, my chat GPT wouldn't do it for me. I don't think yours is going to be able to do it for you. But yeah, it was kind of weird. But
Yeah, phone number in there, then you'll have everybody in India calling you.
right. And I said to him, I said, but I could go on and I could pull up like fast people search. I said, and I could find things on people, but you can't do that for me. He's like, no, I can't. I can tell you where to go look, but I can't do it for you. I'm like, well, why am I going to do that? You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, let me ask you a question, John. On the lines of like for police work, on lines of like for police, he said something about high-speed chases would be a thing of the past. You know, we'd have drones that would take care of that they would do that for us. So for law enforcement, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad.
Why?
Oh, because I mean, they'll have the capability, and the thing is, just like they did the Patriot Act and said how good it would be, and everybody was like cheering on from 9/11, so they just like, yeah, sign that bill. We need that for those terrorists, but it's like it's for you. It's for you're the terrorist. And then not long after that came about the the cops versus the constitutionalists, they called it. And then they started getting military gear. They started getting the MRAP trucks and all that, Bearcats and all, military vehicles. And then but this will turn into easily a drone can pick up if it thinks you have hate speech, red flag laws, thinking you're doing, you know what I mean? Like it'll just be here. People think, oh, it'll catch criminals. No, it's not designed for that. They don't care about no damn criminals.
Yeah, it's not Minority Report kind of. I mean, that even if it was, that would be a bad thing.
Yeah, they and it's about control. And I'm sorry, but when you read through the FEMA, red list and stuff, the cops are the blue list, which will take out the red, and then the blues will be taken out 90 days later. So, but it's just they need an arm to do it. They need and to give them that kind of equipment. I think they're just fine with what they got right now, but I know why they're implementing that. It'll be like, oh, well, we can watch the cops too. And I'm not saying all cops are bad, but there is a lot of them that overstep their boundaries.
Right.
And basically, who when shit hits the fan, who wouldn't be like, well, better them than me? You know what I mean? Somebody in that kind of authority who has that, kind of equipment or whatever, they're not going to care about you, John Q. taxpayer. They're going to worry about, they're going to do what they're told.
Right. I mean,
or it's them.
So the Patriot Act, essentially, the Patriot Act was so easy to pass because of a national tragedy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what's happening pretty much again. It's just that, we'll have these good guy drones to watch everybody, make sure y'all talk nice, and then get the bad guy.
Right. Yeah. Because, when 9/11 happened, it traumatized our country so bad that when the Patriot Act was presented to us, at that moment in time, we would have given up anything to have that protection back, to have that feeling of safety back. We just wanted to go back to September 10th and have the way the world was. It all ended the next day on September 11th. So we would have done anything. So giving up a few rights for protection at that moment didn't seem so bad. So what's to say down the road they don't perpetrate another tragedy and then problem, reaction, solution here? They create the problem and then they manipulate our feelings, and then all of a sudden they throw and say, what can help us with this? AI.
Well, no doubt. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like AI is being, and I'm sure a lot of it, whatever they show you is just like, they have a lot of it already implemented. What they show you is probably 7 years old or whatever.
Right.
And, they'll have it ready to go. And that you're right. They'll just, oh, you need this. You need a drone following you because it'll keep you safe or whatever. and it's all about it, unfortunately, a new world order's coming, and it's going to be satanic, so it's kind of inevitable. It sucks. I get it, but it is what it is.
Exactly. So they asked a question about, let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is. Will Project Stargate be tied to Trump's Golden Dome? Interesting question. It's quite an interesting question. Yes, it will be, as a matter of fact. Let me pull up the U.S. Where is it? Let me do this. AI for National Defense. Okay, so Prion. Okay, here we go. Here's the .gov that I wanted. Okay. Pull this up. Maybe get rid of this. Stop screen. Screen. Here we go. Take that off there. Okay, so here we go. This is Artificial Intelligence, AI, and Defense, a roadmap for the future of the defense and industrial base. Artificial intelligence is a growing enabler for defense applications. Further, the Department of Defense recognizes the importance of investing in the defense industry base's ability to incorporate AI into the design, development, operations, maintenance, and support for defense system. Executive Order 14179, removing barriers to American leadership in artificial intelligence, highlights the importance of integrating AI securely and effectively. So it says the scope of this paper that they put out, this document, it says they want to assess the ability of the DIB to produce new systems with AI-enabled capabilities. Industrial-based policy sought to understand the industry and governing forces impacting the development of AI and development of a roadmap of action the Department of Defense can take to support the AI warfighter capabilities within the DIB. So they're talking about what you just said a few minutes ago about using AI to basically run our military equipment.
Yeah, I mean, it'll now the whole thing is so they only make things because they're fixing their mistakes from the Tower of Babel.
Right.
And a Golden Dome to protect the country from missiles, that's not what it is. They're building a system so when Jesus comes back with tens of thousands of his saints, they're going to have some sort of a weird, fallen angel technology dome that'll, they think it's going to do something for them, but it's not. It doesn't have nothing, that's what we're getting at that time where it's not about, a nuclear missile. I don't care what you're going to do. Russia has 30,000-40,000 of them. You're not going to stop every one of them. So it's not about that. It's about control, and it's about where they can, see what's coming from the air. And it's not missiles. They're worried about the Lord.
Just like the Catholic Church, their Lucifer telescopes are not looking at the stars.
Exactly. They don't care about that. They're waiting for their boss to get kicked out of heaven finally.
I actually think that, and I've actually come to a different conclusion about the Lucifer telescope. I think they're looking for New Jerusalem.
Yeah, whatever's coming from the air, and Daniel says that the Antichrist comes from the air, and Jesus comes from the air, and all this other stuff. So I mean, it's like, and then devil gets kicked out, and that's the turning point when when Lucifer finally gets kicked out of heaven by Michael, because right now he can go to heaven. Dude, he can do what he wants, go up there and accuse and all this other stuff. When Michael kicks him out and it says, and he shall fall and everyone on the earth shall see him and know he's pissed. They're waiting for that. They're going to get they're waiting to see him get kicked out of the heavenlies. And that's how, because that's a pivotal moment in the timeline.
Huh. So somebody asked about how do they worry about the Lord if they don't believe in him? Oh, they believe in him.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, they believe in him.
Believe in him.
Every Luciferian knows who that is.
Yeah.
They don't. It ain't. Yeah, they believe in him 100%.
Just like you say that atheists or Luciferians or Satanists, they don't believe in the Bible. Well, they may not believe in the Bible, but they know the Bible probably better than all of us who are Christians.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
and they use it as a playbook.
Yeah, they have all the ancient texts. They have ancient writings. They have Nebuchadnezzar's timeline, all his journal. Because it was Daniel was chosen out of a whole group of people to come and discern the dreams or whatever. But the dreams were a timeline. If Daniel talks about a timeline, you don't think Nebuchadnezzar was like, oh, wait a minute, this guy's, he's talking about a timeline. So they're not dumb. And that's why God kind of picked on Nebuchadnezzar, made him, eat the grass and gave him wings and some hooves or whatever. Kind of, punish him, or I don't know what he did to him, but I know he turned into some kind of weird animal. And but yeah, it's a timeline. They also have some sort of a timeline. I mean, the demons told Jesus, well, it's not our time yet, so why do you come and torment us before the time? When he put them into the pigs. So, I mean, they know there's a timeline.
Right. This is, I almost forgot to pull this up. So, Global Watchman News, one of our editors, one second, cancel it, get out of there. One of our editors, I guess, was built this place right here. Let me see if I can find out a little bit more about it.
What happened now?
So I guess it's not on there yet. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so one of our editors over at Global Watchman News, our YouTube or Facebook page, one of our editors helped to build this this facility for AI. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Let me see if he sent me something else. And let me get to it. So where is this? Ken, do you know where this is? One second. Okay, yeah. Tag my account with the with Alice, please. That's the one I have pulled up right now that I'm using. If you could tag Alice, I'd appreciate it. We'll pull that up and see. Jeez, hold on. Yeah, tag Alice because I have him blocked on my other account. We got into a fight. I haven't untagged him yet. He's still in punishment. I'm such a horrible page owner. I haven't been over there in months. I'm serious. I don't even have the strength to participate anymore. I just don't like to. Let's see. Yeah, because if you tag me on the other account, I will not get it. But you can on Alice. I heard today YouTube unblocked everybody today. YouTube unblocked. Oh, they better not have unblocked people. I'm blocked for a reason. about you, John, but AI, I just see I don't see it ending well.
No, not at all. I look at it like this. Look where they're building that at. Like, Elon Musk, he built the one in Memphis, and he's like, our God comes from Memphis. Well, harping on it again, Ishtar was from Memphis in Egypt, and Memphis has an egg when you go into the city, and then now they're building that thing, and he says, our God comes from Memphis. And then this one in Abilene, when you had asked me about it earlier to do the show about it, is I look at things that surround an area that makes me feel like that, there was something here at one time,
Okay.
before it was settled, and Abilene has a whole lot of that. Through just like, it's just weird to me because I've heard stories. I worked with a lot of guys that live in Abilene, and a lot of times when you tell, if you're on night shift and you're telling stories, or and it doesn't even have to be anything to do with paranormal or supernatural or anything. It could be just a simple hunting story, but then you'll hear details and you're like, wait a minute, that reminds me of something that happened somewhere else. And like, Abilene has Dyess Air Force Base where the B-1 bombers are at. So, and that's a continuity government base. So Trump flew there here not long ago. They landed there during some kind of emergency. Something happened, but he landed there, and that's a very fortified place, right? And they also have, I don't know, you probably can find it still. Somebody got on Google Earth and just happened to look on the Air Force Base, and there's an image, I'm sure it's saved somewhere. There's an image of this weird looking aircraft that's at the hangar, and there's regular planes next to it. But on the Google Earth, you can tell the form of it, but it's like camouflage. Like it's bending light or something.
Huh.
And yeah, so that's there. And then another thing is, you remember the Stevensville UFO incident? Like what, in 2010 maybe?
Yeah.
And it went to that farmer's house, and he worked for Halliburton. And then the Air Force came and threatened him, and then now he's just like, you don't ever talk about nothing about it. Well, the flight patterns from people, from the eyewitnesses, if you watch the documentary about it, it started in Abilene, the sightings, and went over, which in Stevensville is not crazy far, but it ended up over there, right? So that's another thing. And then the hunting story I heard, the guy I worked with was hunting, and like I said, it's kind of like a drop off. It does have, I don't know about a mountain, but it has like a lot of cliffs and hills between, once you get out of Dallas, and then it drops off into the desert, basically going down Interstate 20. But he was hunting up in those hills and climbing and stuff, and he came across, and it was kind of maybe dusk, and he said that they maybe were returning from hunting or had been hunting, but anyhow, he said that he came like on a ledge and was climbing down on the ledge, and it was like a little plateau or something, and he saw, and I mean, and this guy, he ain't ever talked about none of that stuff. Like, this is why I know how to believe people, because he ain't never told no stories like this. And he's like, I don't want to tell y'all this, but he goes, y'all might laugh. He's very embarrassed. And he said that they had this, he goes, I couldn't see the whole body of it, but he goes, it was like a little dinosaur. And he said it had the yellowest damn eyes I've ever seen. And he goes, yellow, like they had flashlights in them. He goes, because it was dusk, dude, and this thing was looking at me. And he's like, I have a rifle, but I was frozen. And he said, I said, well, like, what size was this thing? He said, it was kind of behind it was up on a plateau. I was climbing down, and I just kind of glanced up and seen it. And he said, it might have been, 5 foot tall, but it, he said like, it was dinosaur. He goes like I don't know. And we kind of talked about, he said, well, yeah, like a velociraptor or whatever. And he said it had the most piercing yellow eyes. And he said it was kind of hairy, like it kind of had looked like it had like a wig on or something. And so I that was just a story. I was like, that's pretty, fucking weird. So, but here's the kicker. Years ago, do you remember the owners of the Skinwalker Ranch? Like before that stuff became popular?
You know what? I do. Yes, I do remember.
It was a father and the son who owned the place. Okay. Tell me why their description of the thing they shot in the tree was exactly what this guy, and this guy didn't know jack nothing about no freaking ranch. It had no idea. This guy is, he doesn't dabble in that. And he was just, like I said, but I remember that story about him shooting that thing in the tree. A werewolf looking dinosaur with yellow ass.
Yeah.
It's just, that's too, you know what I mean? Even if he was bullshitting, why did he choose that particular, you know what I mean? Why's it got to be that? It could have been anything, but he chose that. So that's how I know that there's something weird in that. There's a lot of weird shit in Abilene.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of strange things that I can't watch. I can't watch Skinwalker Ranch. I can't. It scares the bejeebus. I'm not even gonna lie. It scares the hell out of me.
And people say it's like, I don't know. It could be like not experimental, but it could be man stuff that's induced there. I mean, obviously we have a lot of falling into technology, but that particular thing that they saw it, like it was killing their animals and stuff, and they shot it. And they said like a werewolf / velociraptor with yellow eyes and like it had the claw on the feet and all that. And it just, when he told me that story, I thought, man, and it took me a while. Like I was like, holy shit, he talked, why did he say that? And I just felt like he ain't never said nothing before that or nothing after about nothing. I've talked to that guy numerous times and he ain't never told no story like that but once.
All right. Yeah,
So
there's a lot of stories coming out lately about the cryptids. Matter of fact, here in Chicago, we've got Mothman that's been seen probably 3-4 times in the last couple of years. Always by O'Hare Airport too.
Right? Yeah, I remember that Mothman thing. I mean, they have a lot of like you can tell. I can't think who said it. Might have been Quail, but when you start seeing these little creatures and stuff, like the gates of hell are opening.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I first converted, a lot of weird things, and I've told the Duende story. I don't know if I told it on here, but I've told it before. Duendes are like a little gnome, or it could be, I don't know it. Duende is Spanish for like leprechaun or something, a clown or whatever little slang term. I just tried to. I've seen 2 of them in about between span of 5 years, and they did. The first one was like a gnome, what I would say is like a garden gnome looking thing, and the other one was like a goblin. But anyhow, and I've told this story to people here in the oil field. And they're like, "Oh man, I know you're talking about." And it like once you start talking about it, then everybody starts telling their story, because a lot of guys obviously are out here on night shift, and whether on the rigs or pumping wells or whatever, but truck drivers, and then all the stories will start coming together, and it's like a lot of people tell the same thing. It's like because all the details may be a little bit different, but the basis is the same. But yeah, like fairies. I know what I saw years ago, and I just know that it had some green eyes, and it was flying like a big bumblebee would, the way it moved. But and it's like after, because I never really thought about that. when I say I was an atheist, like, you know, I never thought about none of that stuff. Not even the devil, like,
Right.
kind of whatever.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I try not to. I've never been one to watch scary movies or stuff like that. I don't like that adrenaline. I really don't like that rush of fear. I don't get how people
Yeah.
like that. I can remember watching Amityville Horror when I was probably 10. Slept with my mom for a month. I mean, and Amityville's kind of, I mean, that's like low scale for a scary movie, okay?
Right. That's not like bloody gore. It's like a real, you know, like, I guess like you know, obviously a real supernatural situation with
Yeah.
demonic things or whatever. But, yeah, when I listen to people, I think it's starting to catch on TikTok, it's starting to catch traction is these stories from out here, because like I said, when you work around somebody and they don't ever say nothing, you know, on that topic, and then all of a sudden they're kind of like, you know, they feel confident to tell you. And I've heard it numerous times, you know, I've been embarrassed about saying this stuff. And I was like, dude, just say what it is. You know, I said, I want to hear what you got to say about weird. And they'll tell me, and I'm like, I believe you 100%.
All right.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out here with that. But like I said, it's the area. It's, you know, we're close to New Mexico, and they got some weird shit in New Mexico. I'll tell you that.
What's that? The one Chupacabra.
Oh yeah, I mean that, and like, you know, if you want to say like an actual skinwalker, and I've heard somebody tell me that they thought it was like a mountain lion that was walking, you know, walking funny. It was on its hind leg, couldn't keep its balance, and I was like, ugh.
You know, I've seen some pretty interesting doorbell camera footage of things walking out there at night.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. They got those walking sticks in Fresno, California, in people's yards. You know, it looks like Gumby or something. And I mean, a lot of guys I hear tell stories about working nights in New Mexico. Make your skin kind of crawl, man. You know, people in robes walking in a triangle formation across the pad, and they don't even care what you're doing. They just walk. You know, that's pretty. That's not good.
No.
You know what I mean? If a group of people are wearing black robes walking in a triangle formation,
right,
trying to get the whale going, you know, trying to start a compressor, and they don't care what you're doing, but they won't break formation. I don't know. I probably won't be going that path again.
I don't know about you, but I'll be at the bar. Come get me when you're done.
I got a pipe wrench, and I'll swing the hell out of it too.
Yeah, come get me at the bar. You have fun. Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is what Dave and I always say when we see something crazy on TV. It's like, no, we'll be sitting at the bar. You all have fun with your crazy outing, and come get us when you're done. Mm-mm. I don't do that crazy. I didn't do that stuff when I was younger. Why the hell would I do it now? You know? Mm-mm. Nope. I can remember Appalachian, going through the Appalachian Mountains. Dave's father actually walked the entire Appalachian Trail in his life.
Wow.
And I really wish I could have had conversations with him before he passed away. Well, before he was murdered. To talk to him about it, because I would love to know the things that he saw walking the Appalachian Trail. Because Appalachian is pretty crazy out there.
Oh yeah, I mean that was really Egypt at one time, and you know, all the quartz mines and stuff. That's where, I mean, it was when it was Pangea. That's where, you know, a lot of Egyptians are at.
Yeah. Yep. There's I was reading something about it. It's the Appalachian Lights. Is that what it is? I think.
No, I've heard of that before. I know they got all kind of the Wendigos and all the whistling and all.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the people like when you live there or it's just second nature for them. At night when it starts getting dark, they close all the drapes, all the curtains, and it's just second nature for them. They don't. I'm sorry, but a 90-year-old grandmother tells me, honey, before close the windows, I'm closing the windows. She knows better than I do, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Somebody sent me an article the other day about Bigfoot. While we're on the topic of these crazy creatures, somebody had the theory that Bigfoot is actually Cain.
Cain, yeah, I mean, like Cain's people, or
no, like Cain and Abel.
Yeah, like a bunch of them though, like descendant of Cain.
I didn't get that far. I kind of blew it off for a little bit till I could wrap my head around the fact that he's covered with hair and he doesn't. I mean, I would think Cain would be more of the vampire genre than the Bigfoot genre.
Okay, I'm sure I said this at one point on here, but remember when I said about if you put Pangea back together and you do like margin of difference and erosion and take that all away, like everything pretty much comes together.
Yeah.
To where even in the middle, right, it like closes up, right? Yep. On a rockhound theory. So, and all the 4 rivers of the Eden are in Tunisia in the Opal Valley. Now, archaeological wise, in the Opal Valley, in the middle of the valley, there are like, they have found regular human skeletons, but on the outside of the valley, they found, what they would say is Neanderthal style, skeletons, larger, brows bigger, or whatever, like Nephilim, I guess, I don't know. But anyhow, and then there's stories from how there are people covered in hair that still live in the Amazon.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Right. And then you got all your stories, of course, United States. And then the one that, and I've seen like the newspaper articles or whatever from in British Columbia in the 1890s, the loggers were killing so many Bigfoot, cutting down them damn trees. The Bigfoots would attack them, and they would, all these loggers would team up and be like, well, they're not all of them are big, and they killed a lot of them. And the Smithsonian went and kind of collected a lot of the bodies.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, that's in 1890s, people were like, that's history in British Columbia. Like, yeah, they killed a lot of Bigfoot because they were tearing the woods down and they were coming out. You're destroying their home. So it's like, well, it's known to have tribes in the Amazon that are covered in hair. So what's the difference between what the British Columbian loggers encountered? Are they going to know English or French or whatever? Or they're going to be kind of like pissed because you're cutting down their houses or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's I worked with a guy that passed away too. He had a huge podcast, and I'm going to try to find what it was. I think his friends are continuing it. Really large podcast about Bigfoot. He was a real big Bigfoot. But I've listened to his story before. He got in a car accident leaving work one day, and it killed him. But I heard what he said, and I believe him. And he was turkey hunting in Mississippi, and I heard a lot of Bigfoot stories from Mississippi. And he had it. This damn thing was within 20 yards of him, and he described it, as like almost like a chimpanzee head, but very large, huge, 15 foot tall, very muscular, larger brow, but pretty close to chimpanzee head. It was communicating with others that he didn't see, and he had, of course, his shotgun with, you get turkey load, or I don't know, maybe like a turkey slug or something, but maybe like a heavier shot. But he knew that if it came after him, not like a full, like gonna get him, but he goes, it did chase him and he ran for his life, he said. But the way he described it and stuff, and I mean, I don't know why that guy would make that up. I know what I'm saying, like
Yeah, well, that's. Unless you're like a habitual liar or a pathological liar.
And that's why he became so successful on the podcast, because he brought in numerous people that had experiences, and he even had somebody that was like, the 10th man or whatever, like to say you're wrong, but he was just at him. He was like, that's what I saw, and it scared the shit out of me, and that's, whatever. And then he would hit everybody on that would have these experiences. But yeah, and I remember that's what, and he told me that personally. Wow. And I know areas that he was hunting in Mississippi, and it's like there are, drop offs, and it's not like desert nothing, but it's a lot of woods, and when I was a kid, I could say, like, I call it a canyon, but had like a lot of like cliffs, and then you got some creeks run through there, and steep hills and this and that. But yeah, he goes, this thing he was sitting there, and you got to know, like, turkey hunting is you got to be very quiet, right? Mm-hmm, like those things, a turkey can hear you, like,
right,
pick your nose or something, like
right.
a mile away. So he's quiet, and this thing's just coming across like the lower part of the creek bed, and he's watching, and he's sitting there, camouflage, not moving, whatever, and it just gets bigger, and he goes, it starts getting taller and taller as it's coming up from the creek. And he goes, and he saw it, said about 15 foot tall, and had a big chimpanzee head. That was wow.
Oh, hell to the no.
Yeah.
Nope.
And he goes, it's very deep. It had a very deep, like, it wasn't doing like no, like it wasn't like no chimpanzee scream, like TV. It was communicating with a very deep voice,
Wow.
And he heard the other ones talking to it back, but he couldn't see them.
Oh no. Oh my God. Put it this way. He'd hear my heart beating. Okay.
Right? And he goes, the thing just stared at him. He goes, it saw me. He goes, I had the mask over my face, and the only thing you see is my eyes, and he goes, it saw me. It knew what, he goes, probably, maybe it smelled me, but he goes, it knew I was there. It looked right at me. He goes, only thing you can see is my eyes. I'm wearing, whatever, mossy oak or whatever camouflage. And he goes, it knew me. And it just stared at me. He goes, went to stare down, and then he goes, it started coming up after me. It got pissed because I was sitting there. And he said, he goes, I had my shotgun, always in the air. And he goes, I went back towards my vehicle, or spoiler, or whatever he had. I think it's, foiler. And then he goes, he kept looking back, and it was still coming. Not like a full out, I'm going to get you, but like a scaring me out of there kind of deal. And he goes, I look back, and he was gone, just gone. Because he said the last time he turned around, he goes, it's going to be on me, but how fast it moves. And he said that, he goes, when I turn around, I'm just going to start firing at it, because he had an automatic shotgun.
Right.
And I think there were like 3 shells in those things, but he was just going to give it what he had. And then he turned around, and it was nowhere to be seen.
I read somewhere that they're interdimensional. That's probably.
Oh, very possible. He did mention that a lot. He said, he goes, and because I had said, man, I said, if it's Nephilim, I think probably walking the portal. I said, there's lots of indigenous people that say those damn things are, go through a portal.
Yeah, that's what
he's like, oh, no, he goes, I wouldn't rule that out. And then I remember when he passed away, they said at his thing at the company, they did mention, they said, well, because they said, and I'm not laughing about it, but I mean, it's honestly like, we all kind of chuckled. We were like, well, now he knows,
Right, yeah. He's got all his answers now.
He knows it because he believed in the Lord. He believed in Jesus. So, and he knew that. He goes, if they got the Lord, and he goes, what the hell? What does the evil look like on the planet? He always did say that. And So we were like, oh, he knows now, there is no doubt in his mind.
Wow. Yeah, that's one thing. You definitely, you'll find it. You'll have the answers when you cross over the other side. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that line, wow. Yeah. Oh, I'm alone tonight. I got to sleep with the light on now. Damn it. I am. I'm a wuss. I really am a wuss. I'm not even gonna lie. Oh, let's get back on topic. Lord. Yeah. Ken, what looks like with the help of Heather, sent something for us to look at. Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. Albania's AI minister makes its debut with an address to Parliament. Oh, dear God. An AI-generated government minister made its debut with an address to the Albanian Parliament on Thursday, with Prime Minister Edi Rama presenting the bot as a symbol of his government's push for transparency and innovation. The government said the bot, named Delia, which means sun in Albanian and depicted as a woman in traditional Albanian dress, will help tackle corruption in public spending, but opposition lawmakers were highly critical and believe the program is a way for the government to hide graft.
Well, there's so much AI now too. Did you the Google V3 or something has like a video, and it's like a bunch of different people in this video. You know how they do like street interviews or whatever on TikTok?
Yeah.
And then they have a video, and this guy's doing street interviews, and if you didn't know that it was AI, it was very hard to notice, because they're like, I can't believe I'm not real and I'm actually talking to you right now during the street interview. Like, they're saying things and it's like, yeah, it's not real, but they look real.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's gone are the days of the choppy AI. We have to be so careful right now of deep fakes. And speaking of deep fakes, there was a video done today on TikTok. As a matter of fact, let me send it to myself real quick. And it kind of ticked me off because I reposted it. Let's do copy link. Let me pull it up real quick, because we have to be so careful of what's real and what's not. And that's kind of it kind of sucks, because, well, I'll show you guys. I don't know. It just kind of pissed me off today. Yeah, where is it? Here we go. Come on. Okay. Let me pull this up real quick. Oops. Took you off, John. Sorry about that. Took you out of the knees. There we go. Take a listen to this.
Outside the arena, there were water bottles, folding chairs, snacks, and even food. I must apologize for some of the troubles caused by Charlie's memorial service. After the service ended, outside the arena, there were water bottles, folding chairs, snacks, and even food carts left scattered around. This made the work of the cleaning staff twice as hard. I know that seeing this scene, many people must have been very disappointed. To make up for this regret, I personally returned to the site and, together with volunteers and staff, worked to clean up the bottles, snack bags, and chairs one by one. I will stand up and openly accept criticism. Whether on social media or in interviews, I will not avoid it. I do not want this apology to remain only in words. So together with the team and the venue, we have discussed new measures. In the future, there will be storage areas, eco-friendly bags, and volunteers to help, so that everyone will not have to struggle with these small matters. I know these efforts cannot completely erase the chaos of that day, but at least they can show everyone that I am willing to take action to protect Charlie's dignity and also to protect your trust.
Yeah.
They go with footage of her and made an AI talk.
There was some garbage, but nothing compared to what they showed.
Oh yeah, but then that's not even her. That's like old footage of her. I remember she was saying something else when she had her hair up in a bun, but they made it like that was like that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, which is bad.
It is bad because there's a lot of pranks on TikTok, and I laugh and I have to say it. But they had this guy, he goes up to people. I guess he takes a picture of them and he has some kind of AI shit on his phone and it makes them like you take a picture and an old lady sitting at a desk at some business and he's like, ma'am, is this you? And he takes a picture of her and then the AI app makes her get up and like swing her arms around and she's like, I never did that. You know, he tricks the hell out of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching, oh God, I can't think of his name now. He's a real big influencer. Charles something. He was friends with I'm getting tired. I can't even think. Anyways, so he like last year they did a video of him and he, you know, it was like I said, it was choppy. You could tell that it was AI. Totally, completely to tell. Now, like a couple of months ago, they did it again, and the voice was perfect. The imaging was perfect. He said he was shocked. He was just like, can't believe that what a difference a year made between the two videos that they had shown. It was crazy.
Right.
You know, and we know that they're only giving us the things that, you know, they've got what 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 years better equipment.
Oh yeah, because they, you know, Lee Harvey Oswald's photo of him holding, you know, in the Russian uniform, that was photoshopped, you know, and that looked real at the time, you know. So yeah, their technology with that is good. And did you see about and this is real, and that movie Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage? You remember that movie?
I remember it.
Okay, tell me why. And here's the thing: that movie, I remember when I was a kid. Now let me think. That came out in '98, so I was in high school, and for some reason I don't forget why I couldn't watch it. And I was like, I'm like almost a senior, so why I can't watch that. Anyhow, I kind of watched it. Maybe I was punished, who knows? But I watched it from the reflection in the house we lived in. So I act like I just stayed in the kitchen, but I could see what my parents were watching. Anyhow, on the movie, okay, they had to they killed this politician. What do you think that guy's name was in the movie?
Charlie Kirk.
Charles Kirkland.
Yeah. Yep.
And they shot him in the neck in the movie, and then Nicolas Cage yells Tyler, and the name of the fucking boxer who threw the match, his name was Tyler.
Yep.
And then guess what day it was when they shot him? September the 10th in the movie.
What?
Yeah, go look. In the movie, they show the movie poster, which is that boxer, the executioner Tyler, that's his name, is going to fight, you know, but the boxing ad in the movie is September the 10th.
Wow.
And that's real. And because on the movie, you know, like on the boxing match on the movie, the promotional says whoever's name is Executioner Tyler versus on September the 10th. Now, come on now.
Huh. That is crazy. Well, I played a video last night. 1 second. Snake Eye, yeah, is okay.
And Nicolas Cage, on the movie poster for the promotional poster for the movie, he has his hand in the upside down pyramid or whatever. It's the same thing Charlie Kirk and Trump does. Like Nicolas Cage is doing it, and that's from like that's all real stuff.
Interesting. I'm gonna pull up a video I played last night. I believe it's what's his name, Cooper.
And then did you see
the guy? It was Bill Cooper. It was Bill Cooper was talking about Kirk. Hold on a second.
Did you see the guy too that said that they rented the stadium in Arizona in May?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's real, but that guy, I don't know. He said Turning Point rented it in May. I mean, isn't that where the
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's insane.
And he goes, he couldn't find anything, what special event was happening. Why would they rent that in May? And there's no announcement about it.
Wow. That's insane. This is
wow.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to make a note of that. Stadium rented in May, you said?
Yeah. No, I see him. That's Jordan Maxwell.
That's Jordan Maxwell, yeah. So Jordan Maxwell talks about Kirk. Take a listen.
The men who run this world from behind the scenes are telling you something and they're doing something, and unless you know how to read the code, you're never going to figure out what's going on here. A classic example is the word church. Many people use the word church and have no concept in their mind where it comes from. The word church comes from a Scottish word, Kirk, which gives us Captain Kirk of the good ship Enterprise. Okay, we're talking money. Enterprise, Captain Kirk. You think that's silly? It's very serious. Kirk in Scottish is church in English, but Kirk in Scottish goes back to a Greek goddess named Mother Circe. Mother Circe becomes Mother Circe in Rome, and then the Knights Templars took the worship of Mother Circe from Rome into Scotland and called it Mother Kirk, and the English call it Mother Church. So once you begin to see church is merely Kirk, which is merely Circe, go back and look at the mythology of Mother Circe in Greece. Mother Circe, according to Greek mythology, was able to hypnotize people with her magic, bring them into her house and close the door and take from them their mentality and their brains and turn them into animals and eat them. Because the men who run this world from behind the scenes are telling you something and they're doing something, and unless you know how to read the code, you're never going to figure out what's going on here. A classic example is the word can have no concept.
That's did you know that? I didn't know that.
No, I mean, Jordan Maxwell knew a lot of stuff too. Like
people
discredit him, but they only go after the ones that are gone now that can't. But I mean, and they try to scrub, just like Fritz, obviously Fritz Springmeier.
Oh yeah, we've actually I've interviewed him several times.
Exactly, and you know damn well that Fritz, that guy knows things, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's like
they didn't put him in jail just for shits and giggles.
Oh, exactly. And but I'll hear people say, well, like on TikTok, I'll go by. If I see him say something about Fritz, I'm like, basically, fuck off.
Yeah.
Because just like Jordan Maxwell too, they'll say, well, he didn't know the exact usage of the words. I'm like, that freaking guy said more than you can ever handle.
He forgot more than that the most people have ever known.
100%. And it's like, look at the ones that are left. A bunch of, Billy Carsons and all these little clowns off Mother Gaia TV or whatever.
Right.
Like, oh, okay.
Carson's a joke.
Please. Yeah. y'all know that. I mean, obviously Horn is all gone. Dizdar.
Yeah.
All the ones who knew something are gone.
Yeah, I mean for a reason, you know. So so this was I'm gonna pull this one up too. This is another one that stop screen. This one talks about snake eyes. Let's see what this one says. I actually like what's his name? I like Jordan Maxwell.
Makes a lot of sense.
They predicted the Charlie Kirk assassination. So check this out. So in 19...
Started again.
Yo, you can't even make this stuff up. Looks like Hollywood did it again. They predicted the Charlie Kirk assassination. So check this out. So in 1998, Nicolas Cage stars in a movie called Snake Eyes. And in this movie, a prominent political figure is assassinated while watching a boxing event by being shot in the neck on September 10th. But that's not the craziest part. The politician's name was Charles Kirkland. Charles Kirkland, Charlie Kirk. And if that's not weird enough, the boxer's name was Tyler the Executioner. What are the odds? I don't know what you do with that information, but I thought you might like to know. Yo, you can't even make this stuff up. Looks like Hollywood did it again. They predicted the Charlie...
Isn't that weird?
Nervous laugh. Yikes.
It's just weird. That's just what I say about, I don't know that that's what it is, but it's weird. Like how does that, why does it gotta be that? Why does it have to be Charles Kirkland?
Right.
You know,
and it was, what year was it when you were in 90s?
98. It was 98.
Yeah.
And Tyler the Executioner is the boxer, and in the movie the boxer throws the match, and and that's what Nicolas Cage tried to figure out, what it's a conspiracy or whatever, but still, like, the names, come on now.
Wow.
And then my favorite one, which is true too, is before the Oklahoma City bombing, the governor of Oklahoma, his brother, writes a book called The Final Jihad, and I'm sure you know this too, right, Lord?
Yeah.
And the terrorist in the book is named Tom, not Tim, Tom McVeigh.
Yeah.
Come on now. And they said Alex Jones has like some of the original copies of it when it came out like a year before that even happened.
You know that I knew Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think he's a Tyler Robinson. I'm sorry to say, but he's a fall guy. I mean,
oh yeah, totally fall guy. Yeah. So yeah, before anybody jumps on that, Lord knew. Timothy McVeigh was he lived in Cambridge, he was born in Lockport, New York, which is where I'm from. I worked with his sister Jennifer. I was the manager at Wendy's in the 90s. I worked with his sister Jennifer. She's since moved to Florida and changed her name. But his father lived out on Bear Ridge Road. As a matter of fact, I've had my cousin on here many times. My cousin wrote the unauthorized autobiography of Timothy McVeigh. His name's Brandon Stickney, and he puts a lot of information out there about Tim being the fall guy. I've had many conversations with him. He's never come across as being somebody who would do that. I don't believe that he did.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was.
I believe it was not to interrupt. I believe it was a John Doe number 2 that was the main guy.
Yeah, and you know him too, and
I do.
And it's just like everybody can come to the same conclusion. Even right now, these different Green Berets and former snipers are like, think about it. Tyler Robinson had no weapon up there. They probably, told him it was an exercise or like hyped him up, told him to go up there and like be my spotter. And it's almost the same story as Crooks. Yeah. It's like, be my spotter, or they say, Crooks, you're gonna do this. Like, Crooks is just like the patsy, right? He's the little dumb sniper guy. And then there's another shooter at the water tower, which is all proven right now.
Did you see that the gun? Now they're saying that the gun is so old that they may not be able to trace it.
Oh yeah, and I'm thinking, well, why are you showing a picture of something that is not from World War One? There's no fucking way.
Yeah, that's why I guess he text messaged his partner. He said, that they'll never be able to trace it back to my grandfather, or my father's gonna be really mad that I didn't get it, or whatever.
Well, there's lots of now. There's video showing. There's video showing right after Charlie fell out of the chair. They're showing a Utah Valley University cop do a handover with somebody from Charlie's staff, and they're like, they took something off the ground and put it, and they got the hand switch, and now they're like, everybody's up in arms about it.
I don't know. I don't know if that was no, because I think that was another time, because the guy was on the other side of Charlie.
No,
I
it
know
shows
what you're talking about, because I was joking around with it. I said, nothing like having your dealer bring you your Coke at a function,
Yeah, it came out like an hour ago or 2 hours ago. The
Oh,
footage.
okay. Maybe this is a different one that I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, it's new footage. It just came out.
Okay, yeah, this is a different one then. Let me see if I can find it.
Mike Adams posted it, and Mike Adams was like, "Oh, it's undeniable." It's like, what the fuck did he hand this guy?
Yeah.
You can see the handover, like they're sitting over Charlie's body, and you can see the handover.
Did you see the guy in the suit?
Yeah, the guy in the suit. I mean, it's obvious right now, it's bullshit, and nobody's saying anything about like this plane comes down to 600 feet above the lake, right next, during the shooting, and then flies back up, and it's a CIA bombardier plane that has like drone technology. I mean, they got the number of the damn thing and everything, and nobody's like, oh no, that's not it. And then people have pictures of the drones flying around, and they're just totally ignoring it. And
well, Charlie had himself, he was weird, because looking back at the videos now, I noticed it after somebody drew my attention to it. He kind of bombarded himself or barricaded himself behind water bottles and hats, and his chair was down lower than normal. It was just weird.
Okay, isn't it like Beaver County or whatever where Butler's at?
I don't know.
Whatever county it is has like their own like special response unit or whatever for the cops. So it's kind of like their own. It's not really a sheriff's. It's like a kind of like what FEMA does. FEMA's not really a cop, but they can have weapons.
Right.
And it's some kind of like management unit out of Beaver County and Butler. And it's a known thing, nothing secret about it. It's like, they're called out if they need something, tactical situation or whatever. Okay, so why was Crooks a volunteer sniper for that FEMA-like group in that county?
Good question.
And I'm like, FEMA doesn't necessarily have to be any kind of they don't have to have anything, but they got weapons.
Yeah, FEMA's a little sketchy.
Right. And they have all these states and counties have like these made up agencies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now like these states have like the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation, the LBI or TBI or whatever. It's like, who the hell made that up?
Right.
They made that shit up that's how they funnel money through these little.
That's exactly how they funnel money. Absolutely.
The corporation, it's fake law enforcement. They have no jurisdiction. I mean, it's just because it said that they do. You know what I mean? They really don't have anything. It's just, somebody said that they do. But it's like, it's like they make up all these agencies.
Well, yeah, they gotta launder their money somehow.
Right? Yeah, but that's right. Yeah, obviously, yeah. It's just a laundering, money laundering,
Gotta
and
launder it somehow.
it's just disgusting to me. Like it, I don't know, but yeah, Charlie, it's obvious now that if it is his own team involved. Like, what the fuck these guys are handing to each other?
I heard today, and I'm just going to put this out there. I've heard, but I've not been able to substantiate. I've not even looked at it. I've been working all day. But I heard that his security team is Israeli.
Yeah, I mean that guy. So that Andrew Kovic guy, the one who said he's had the Man of Steel bones or whatever.
Yeah.
He was a PR guy for some company from like 2014 to 2019. He was the PR guy for some company that was ran by like a Christian Zionist or whatever. And he's
It's
put the
almost like I feel like if I start really digging, and I don't know if I want to or not. I think it's pretty much played itself out, but I feel like if I started digging into security, I'll end up at G4S.
Yeah. G4. Oh, no, yeah, you know that.
You know.
Lori, I wish I'm gonna find that one day. But okay, when the Pulse nightclub happened, I remember that guy. He had the same name as the Smithsonian guy, like James Wesley Powell. It might have been Howe instead of Powell, but it was still James Wesley. He was the third guy for the Pulse nightclub. And he's the one they caught with all the weapons in his car. He was driving to California to the gay parade, and they were like, he acted confused and all that. He got arrested like in Indiana or something. And they're like, where are you going? He goes, well, my colleagues are down at the nightclub, Pulse nightclub. And the police did a report on this. And they're saying, yeah, we arrested some guy. He didn't really do anything, but he's telling us that he was part of the female and the male at the Pulse nightclub. And people are like, wait a minute, what female? Well, she was the suicide bomber in there. It wasn't just it was her. How the hell did those people get limb? An AR-15 doesn't cut off that many limbs. I'm sorry to tell you.
Right.
So he says that, and then they give him a lawyer, and it was a female lawyer. And then I remember the story. It happened. I saw it. The lawyer got beat up and thrown in a dumpster downtown.
Good God.
His lawyer, when he was in jail, he told her what happened, and somebody mugged her, beat her up, I think probably killed her, and threw her in a dumpster. And I'm like, did anybody?
Wow. Yeah.
G4S.
Exactly. Well, guys, we're going to end it tonight. And we coming up on 10 o'clock. Time flies.
Right.
It really does. It really does. Well, interesting. Yeah. G4S. I'm almost positive if I started digging, I'd probably come out on that rabbit hole.
Well, they paid everybody. They paid the guy in Baton Rouge. They paid the Dallas guy.
Played Boston guy.
Yeah.
So. All right, John. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Yeah. We'll have to figure out a topic for next week, or the news may choose one for us.
Maybe so.
Maybe. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody in the chat room for joining us tonight. We'd like to make sure that we thank all of our moderators as well. I have something that I might be back on the air Sunday night. I'm not sure yet. And Dr. Joy is coming up one of these weeks. I've got to get with Dr. Joy too. And hopefully Dr. Sherry Tenpenny will get a date for her as well, to talk about things before the next month happens, which is next week. So hopefully we'll get everything done. I want to thank you guys, and we will see you next time. And until then, remember, eyes open, no fear.